Academia is creativity, talent, innovation.
Passione.
Inspiring.
Una famiglia un po' pazza.
Miraculous.
Heritage and future of design.
Famiglia.
Energetic.
Innovativa.
Sorprendente.
Qualità.
My academic family.
Bellezza e tanto amore.
Prorompenza della libertà creativa.
Rigore.
Creativa. Incontournable.
L'Accademia coltiva talenti.
Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, all about bags. Actually, it's all about accessory design. So I'm going to try and do something special today. I've got Luigi Mulas with us in his studio at Accademia Costume Mod in Rome, and we're actually going to have a lesson in bag making. So we'll see him making some prototypes, some patterns, and we'll see some of the students' work. But first of all, I wanted to discuss with you why your career could be in the bag. So I've got a little presentation to start off, and then we'll go and meet Luigi in the studio in a few minutes. So let's get started. Your fashion career in the bag. There we are. So why are we talking about bags? Why are bags so important? Well, it's a social and economic phenomena. I'd like to say that. Today, a handbag is much more than a fashionable container. It's also about branding and innovation, and most of all, communication of the brand. So we know that the sales of handbags and small leather goods are really the backbone of our industry. So it's a very good career choice in a way to enter into international luxury fashion brand. Can you think of some designers that already have done that? Maybe some Italian designers like Maria Grazia Curi, Pier Paolo Piccioli, Alessandro Michele. Those three, all creative directors, all started off as accessory designers. So it is a fashion design choice. But let's look at a little bit of history. So bags have a long history, especially in women's wear, because originally men had pockets and women didn't have pockets in their clothes, and therefore the female bag started to evolve. So the era I'm most interested in is about the 1920s, when we start seeing modernism starting to happen. What we think as being modern in fashion today really started around the 1920s, or at least the very beginning of the last century. It's super interesting. A great picture here of the Duchess of Windsor with her Goyard luggage. So modernity, the birth of iconic brands and branding, from tradition to high fashion. So a contemporary bag, the it bag, the iconic bag, it's an art bag. handbags speak louder than words. Okay, that's my own little phrase, but I like saying that handbags speak louder than words. So it's about what bags you carry that really branding yourself, associating with a brand, a style philosophy. Here we see Daniel Lee's debut for Bottega Veneta back in 2020. No escaping the bag in that image from the fashion show. So 1920s bags were originally called the Dorothy bag, and it was often soft materials with a drawstring top. It came out of the evolution of a Victorian bag. Here we can see a metal closed bag with the insert of a mirror so that a woman could apply the powder on her face. But things evolved very quickly in the 1920s and things started to look like what we now see as the bag. Bags also became slightly larger later on. Here we have a great example of a flapper. The fashionable women of the day in the 1920s were called flappers. And you can see how, driven by social, political, and the unrest in Europe, we see how the bag and the look evolved from the 1920s onwards. But a lot of it also came from the movies, from the cinema. Not only bags, but here we can see Louise Brooks, a very famous movie star from the silent movies, with the handbag that has already become oversized, and this very masculine look of hers is quite extraordinary. If we know our history, it wasn't just the bags that were made popular by the cinema. A lot of items we now know today became popular by the cinema, such as the T-shirt, the male wristwatch. Wristwatches were really a feminine item until Rudolph Valentino wore a wristwatch in the film, and that became then a masculine item as well. And therefore, the bag suddenly became a play between masculinity and femininity. The clutch bag got bigger. Here we see Elsa Schiaparelli's collection when she had this rather unfortunate taste for monkey fur, but it also spilled over in the 1920s bag. But the shape started to become very modern of the bag. Another Schiaparelli bag here, as you can see. This isn't a bag, but it's a compact case designed for Schiaparelli by Salvador Dali, which I think is a great idea to see that. Unfortunately, most people won't understand that's the way we used to dial a telephone. So maybe it's really lost on most of the viewers. But cinema had a profound effect on how we communicated. And originally bags were just there to finalize the look. But eventually we saw cinema and actors using bags to make a point, using bags as a communication point, as in they were holding and gesturing with the bag. It became more than just part of the costume. Art Deco movement and style changed, so often bags evolved with the art of the moment. Here we see a 1940s bag. So bags started to get bigger and more useful. This is an envelope bag of the 1940s. And evening bags were often bejeweled and decorated because they were meant for evening. This is really quite interesting, where bags started to get larger. Out of why? Out of wars. So this is a British wartime bag made to hold a gas mask. So at that point, the utility, the point of having a bag that had an object that was important in there became essential. Therefore, we got used to seeing bags that were larger. Again, the utility bag, the crossbody, being able to function, to work, to move around freely without holding onto a bag because it was crossbody, that came out of the utility bag of the 40s. Later on, in the 50s, once wartime issues disappeared, yes, bags got smaller again, and women were put back into the box, if you like. Women were then being told to be the perfect housewife, and then bags became more dainty, perhaps. But we didn't lose sight of that big, oversized bag because life had changed. Women were now working more, and the bag became a symbol of a working woman as well. Inside there was more than just makeup to carry around. Saying that, the new synthetics of the 1950s brought interesting bags and glamour bags, and novelty bags, as we like to call, of the 1950s. Here we get to one of the most famous bags ever. The actress Grace Kelly, later Princess of Monaco, had an affair with the French house, a love affair with the French house Hermes, figures speaking romantically. In the film, Alfred Hitchcock's film To Catch a Thief, she had the bag, and she often used it to disguise her pregnancy at the time. It was so popular at Hermes, they renamed it the Kelly bag after her. And to this day, it's one of the most popular bags still. So the House of Hermes, the Thierry Hermes, invented or created his brand, established his brand in 1837. So imagine that brand is still going to this day, and it's well known still for its handbags. But there are many other brands like that, like Goyard. Goyard is a kind of a secret. They still make great bags. They're still, there we are, there's a Goyard bag. This is an earlier 20th century bag. And there's a trunk from Goyard. Such legends as Coco Chanel and Jean Lavin would also have had a Goyard trunk. It was basically known for its travel cases, but it's the same motif we see today. And unlike fashion brands, the Goyard doesn't change as much every season, doesn't pump out different designs. Here we see one of their best sellers, which doesn't change much. It's always much the same. There we are. And then Louis Vuitton, you've probably all heard about Louis Vuitton, and we probably know that it's made its fortune out of mainly bags. And it was originally about creating trunks with that well-known emblem. They have the monogram made out of canvas with leather trim. Counterfeiting was still a problem even in the early 1920s. So people were looking how to make their bags special. And I think that's why they started with the leather, as we see here. Interestingly enough, the motifs we see originally came, we believe, from a Japanese kamon, the Japanese kamon, which is a symbol, a family symbol, a little family emblem the Japanese families would create as part of their name, a symbol. And because it was a universal exposition universelle in 1867, we think that's where the idea of the Louis Vuitton came from, those Japanese symbols that now we associate with being so French. So the Louis Vuitton bag today and the branding is so important. We see here there on the hardware. Then we have Gucci, the House of Gucci. Gucci was working at the Savoy Hotel and opened his brand in 1921. He was inspired by seeing all the elegant people arriving at the hotel and thought that back home in Florence, he could make better bags, better traveling cases, and opened his brand in Florence. Here we see some of Gucci's working at the time. Some of the bags from Gucci, earlier bags from Gucci, Tom Ford and how he reinvented the Gucci bags, and that, as you know, went on and changed again as other creative directors came along. And here we're seeing yet more and more bags by the House of Gucci. These are by Frida Giannini, an ex-student creative director of Gucci and an ex-student of Accademia Costume e Moda. The classic bamboo handle. Actually, I think bamboo is actually called wangi. It's the bamboo root, which is easy to bend. Everyone calls it bamboo, but it's known as bamboo, but it's the wangi root that gives it that look. And Alessandro Michele, also ex-student of Accademia Costume e Moda, and the way he changed forever the look of Gucci and the way their bags looked and worked. Maybe we should go now to see Luigi in the studio. Let's have a look if Luigi is available, and he's going to give us a lesson in how to make a simple bag. Maybe he's going to be around. There we are. There we have Luigi. Ciao, Luigi. Eccoci.
Hello, everybody.
Okay. There. So this is the first time we're trying this. A quick lesson from Luigi, who's going to show us how to create il cartomodello. First of all, the model shape. he's going to show, here we have a bag made in leather. Okay, that's better. We can see him better now. And he's showing you the bag. I think he's going to show us how that shape is actually created. You can see he's surrounded by bags made by the students and also some of the prototypes. So, first of all, we remember we're looking for symmetry. So he draws a line and scores a line down the middle with the blade, so he can fold it in two. And that's how you create symmetry. It's the most important part. He's putting notches in the paper, so that finds the exact size, space each size at the right angle. Fortunately, you're not going to be tested on this, so you can just enjoy and watch to see how he creates this shape. Now he's creating a different shape on the paper model, almost a funnel shape. Okay. Again, he's looking for more areas to cut into to develop that shape even more. I can't believe he's doing this all just with the naked eye. He's got years of experience doing this, but this is what he's teaching our students of how to create these amazing shapes. I imagine if you were doing this, you might need some measurements to get those shapes out. So this is how we get that shape. The underneath part he's showing us is down there. So now he's scoring that across and showing you that's how it folds down. And that's half the bag shape, already created that volume. When we're talking accessories, that volume is super important. And already he can get an idea of the proportions that he's looking for. Wonderful. I like that we can get immediately the relationship. So now he's going to show us that's the first part, is when he makes the cardboard, and then he makes them, or the students are making them, in paper and also a feltro, a type of felt fabric, to see those true volumes and then adjust the paper pattern.
Yeah. Adrien, you want go to stitch one bag?
Yes, let's go and stitch one bag.
Yeah.
I love this.
Okay, follow me.
We'll come with you now. Thank you. Look, it's just like holiday. Here we are in the studio. The students are working away, making some of their bags, and we're about to stitch a bag together.
It's a proto Fendi. The last proto Fendi. The last
This is
stitching.
the prototype for a Fendi bag. The student producing for a Fendi project. She's on her master's of accessory design. And first of all, they're applying some glue, I believe, at the sides.
Yeah. Be prepared to stitching for made the edge.
Yep. So to get the edge correct, we first of all going to apply some glue at that area. There we are. Putting the glue on also with a pennarello, a brush. And then leaving it to get a little bit tacky. It has to be just a little bit tacky. And then we stick it down and then stitch it. What's really important in accessories are all the finishes and the handmade elements. That's why a lot of the bags cost so much, because of the handmade elements that go into the construction.
And after I show you the logo.
Okay, so she's created the logo on her bag as well. So he's just putting it together, squeezing it together really nicely.
The designer is Eleonora.
Ciao, Eleonora.
Ciao.
Excellent. That's all squeezed together. And there we can see how she's got the logo, exactly what we were talking about before, the branding. This is her version of the branding. So the students actually have to recreate the idea of branding in their accessory design. That's really original, Eleonora. Fantastic work. And now we get to stitch it. Obviously, these sewing machines are really different. They're not like a traditional sewing machine. They have different feet and they have a different element at the bottom. You can see it's not a flat table-like. It's a prong that comes out, so you can get around and inside bags as well. That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that's not dissimilar to the shape that Luigi showed us before, that trapeze shape. You get the idea that from a basic shape, you can create a multitude of bags. And here the important part, again, is that play with the logo, as well as the volume and the size of the bag that makes it maybe quite contemporary. It's that size with the logo and how that logo works on the bag, the reinvention of those two Fs that have that relationship going around the bag. And that one, what are we going to do? I think he's looking for... Oh, he's going to cut something. I thought he was going to burn those edges of the thread. Perhaps he's going to do that in a moment. He's coming back now, he forgot something.
Non ce l'ho però adesso di questo colore, perché l'abbiamo fatta scura. La facciamo più bianca. Ma parto da quella.
So he's cutting away any excess leather to make it even smarter. That edge will later on probably be hand tinted. That's just burning away a bit of the thread. There we are. And now onto the other side. I know he makes it look really easy, but and obviously when you're doing production in large factories, it might all be a little bit different. But I've seen production factories, and so much of it is still handmade and super interesting to see. And now he's smoothing down those edges on that machine to make it really soft, so there's no hard edges. That could be one good way to have a pedicure. You've probably seen that the accessory studio there aren't that many machines. For making bags, there's only so many machines that you actually need. Whoa, that's a bit noisy.
And now Eleonora do the hinge, no?
So she's now got the hinge to put on.
Yeah.
The edging we're now going to do.
Dagli la prima passata, tanto abbiamo da 3-4, l'ultima te la faccio dare. Esatto.
This is still done by hand in factories. When I visit, I see them doing this.
Dagli la prima passata, dopo facciamo l'ultima. Okay.
And that's how you finish off the edge. Probably she'll do 2 coats of that. A little bit more color to add to it.
Progetto era Selleria Fendi, Adrien.
So the subject was the selleria. Selleria is the handcraft of leathercraft, traditional handcrafting for Fendi, which they're well known for. So as what I was talking about before, a lot of the traditional companies really need to put that traditional handwork in their products to justify the costs, but also to make them artisan, to show the craft and the skill, to make them a beautiful object of today. So here you can see those hand top stitching that she's also put into the bag of the edge. That's really nice little shot. Thank you, Luca. We can see the top stitching there, and then she's painting on to get rid of the hard edges, the cut edges. And it'll be done a couple of times.
And the Selleria line have this leather. It's a famous leather, like Cuoio Romano is the name.
It is a famous leather called Roman leather. Is that from Russo del Casandrino?
Yeah, exactly.
I got. Can you imagine? I actually recognize the leather. Well, I know we work with Russo del Casandrino, which is a tannery based in Naples. Really famous for its quality. They produce the leather for Hermes, for Chanel, for Louis Vuitton, for all the big brands, as well as for Fendi, and as well as for our students. So they work with really beautiful leathers.
I show you other product, Fendi and Ferragamo.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Luigi. Let's see some more products from Fendi and Ferragamo. So these are created by our students for the project. This one is for, you can recognize it, it's for Ferragamo. Beautiful. And it's a men's project.
Yeah.
And this is, you can see that by the proportions, the men's project, it has that beautiful symbol handmade in there for the Ferragamo branding. Another Ferragamo, completely different color story with half the brand logo there. Very beautiful, quite complex design.
Yeah, this year we have amazing projects.
Beautiful. Also, the metal work is very nice. Sometimes the students design it especially. That construction there is super interesting. It looks so easy, but the technique of making a leather bag, it has to look easy perhaps, but actually it's probably more complex than you think. This looks like ostrich. Is it fake ostrich? Ostrich? Fantastic leather bag. Looks almost like a Kelly. Wow. So it has a double strap. So with a zip underneath there as well, which makes it really safe, and a crossbody shape.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
And we have a lot.
That's a very interesting shape with a dimple in the middle.
And you see the logo.
Yeah. The logo is very subtly on the side. Beautiful. Some students work with logos in a very subtle way. We have a great model here now from Professor Luigi, modeling that for us. Thank you, Luigi.
Prego.
Okay. Are there any students around? Do any students want to say anything?
You want? I can introduce Andrea. Andrea.
Okay. Let's see Andrea. Let's have a few words with the student.
Can you talk about your project? We have Adrien in collegamento.
Hi.
Ci vedi lì?
Hi.
Hi.
Ciao, Andrea. Nice to see you again. Ciao.
See you.
How was the experience of working on this Ferragamo project? Tell me about what happened. So you met the Ferragamo team?
Yeah, I met the Ferragamo team for the launch of the brief. And after that, I decided to work with this kind of technique that you can see to create the logo.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And after that, I decided to develop this shopper. And I really enjoyed this project. And the focus of this project is start from Aldo Rossi. This is one of the most famous architects in the 19th century. And I have also made this.
Beautiful.
With the same technique, but the technique is on the side of the bag. And I also made another version of this bag, more little.
So you made many designs
Yeah.
for the project, and then you chose which ones you were going to make.
Sorry?
You made many designs, and then
Yeah.
you chose which ones you were going to take forward.
Yeah.
Have you had the feedback from Ferragamo yet?
No, because the final review
Yeah.
will be on the 24th of July. So
Okay.
we
Did you
will
have an intermediate? You had an intermediate review with them at all?
Yeah.
You met them at the beginning, and then an intermediate review.
Yeah, we had the mid revision, I think 2-3 months ago.
Excellent.
And we go in company.
Yeah, we
Visit the archive.
we can. We had the chance to visit the archive,
The office.
all the part related to the office, the design, and it was a great inspiration for all of us, for all our master to see that, and we took inspiration from that experience to develop our product for this project.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Andrea. It was really
Thank
great
you.
seeing you in the bag again. I'll see you soon at
Thank
Academia.
Bye.
Luigi, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Have you finished your lesson now with us?
If you want, we can show other. You want to see drawing?
Do you have? Let's see another student. Do you have another student?
Yeah, of course. We have other students.
It's nice just to see the prototypes as well as the finished goods. You get the idea of how students are working on the volumes. Oops, some bags are coming away, and hopefully we're going to get another student.
Yeah.
Who's arriving?
Spiegagli questa cosa di Ferragamo, vai. Per il tuo.
Ok.
We're going around here. Hello. Ciao.
Oh, ciao. Allora, io sto facendo il progetto per Fendi, la selleria, usando... Aspetta.
Okay. Are you going to talk about this in English? Okay, I'll translate for you. Okay, so this is part of your Fendi project, which is different to the Ferragamo project. But this is also about the handmade, and you have to redesign the logo and the application of the logo and how the logo interacts with the bag, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and you visited the Fendi archives and you met the directors of the design directors of accessories. Yep.
Yes.
And they gave you the brief as well, correct?
Yes, and dopo.
Yep. After.
Yes. Okay. This is the proto, the first proto.
One of the prototypes.
Yes,
okay.
for Fendi.
Is that the finished item?
Selleria.
The hand stitching element.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
And for second bag faccio l'accettatura intorno alla pattina.
So she's still working on creating her second bag for the Fendi project.
Yes.
So la selleria, the handcrafting element, is that very popular at the moment, would you say?
Yes, la mia proposta è intrecciata, di proporla intrecciata a mano.
So it's been plaited by hand, first of
Yes.
all, and
Yes.
then sewn.
Yes.
So did you do that yourself?
Yes.
You plaited it yourself? Excellent. Super interesting.
Yes.
And when you did your research, what things did you research to get to this point?
Ok.
What did you research? Cosa hai fatto ricerca per arrivare a questo
Ok, ho
punto?
preso lo stile boho chic per
So she chose a theme called Bohemian Chic and researched that style,
Sì.
what that style meant.
misto
Yeah.
un po' al country.
With a little bit elements of country and what a country chic. So when we're talking about bags, we often look at style and style influences because those styles exist and those themes exist. So she was putting together two different styles to get the idea to create this look. It looks just like you're randomly taking ideas, but to put those together requires a lot of research to understand the style codes and to reinvent something new for Fendi. We often think those two Fs have been created so many times. It's a really tricky project to then think how to recreate those two Fs in a new way. Excellent. Grazie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Luigi.
Bye.
Ok, Adrien.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for showing us
Prego,
around your
grazie a voi.
laboratory and the world of Luigi. Okay, let's get back to the presentation and we'll talk a little bit more about some accessories. Here we are, back at the presentation again. So we were looking at the IT bag. So as you see, bags come in multiple shapes, sizes, and designs. And a lot of them will be replicas. Every year, they'll make more and more and more of the very similar bag. This is the Novak bag by Alexander McQueen. The whole point of a company is to make a bag, like our students were just doing, that then really grabs the interest of the public. And every season, they will make another bag quite similar, but then change the idea. So this is the Novak bag interpreted with knitwear and leather. This is a very famous knuckle box clutch. So based on a knuckle duster, which is quite aggressive idea, reinvented by Alexander McQueen to become an evening bag. The heroin bag became another classic for Alexander McQueen. I've got so many bags in this presentation. I'm just going to click my way through. Oh, but this is my favorite. I'm still hoping to find this one day online at Vintage or eBay. It's the Manta clutch. But I like this one because of the zips on it, and it reminds me of a leather biker's jacket. And it's you can get them quite large. But it's a beautiful shape, the way it's constructed. This is another version of the Manta clutch with the skulls of the Queen logos on there. A more romantic view. You know Bottega Veneta by the way the bag has been woven. It's woven as if it's straw, and it's this one is a limited edition. Only 500 copies were made of this particular bag. But Bottega Veneta made all this idea of hand weaving super popular and super fashionable, and also very modern shapes as well. Celine is a very popular bag. This is the trapeze bag by Celine, and you see variations. The Phantom bag, very popular. The Boston bag. You can start to recognize the style of different companies, the codes, the way they construct bags, and the way the handles work. Nothing's more famous than the Chanel chains that they're used as the handles. This is the 255 February 55, the most classic model of Chanel. You see it in all different variations. The typical top stitching, quilting of a Chanel bag, the 255, representing February 55, the date of the bag was designed. more of that same bag. The bag every season will be then updated, made more modern, made in different sizes, different materials. Coco's Cabas bag also developed in different variations. The boy bag, another Chanel classic. The camera bag, the Lego bag, quite an extraordinary bag by Chanel. The transparent bag, the naked bag. So Chloe, an important brand for accessories. Let's just click through all these bags and get towards the end of my presentation. I've got so many bags to show, but it just gives you an idea of how much the producers of bags are creating. Oh, the Dior saddlebag, which was quite a revolution when it was first of all created. Also seen in many films, this one from Sarah Jessica Parker in Sex and the City. Carrie Bradshaw, the character, made it super popular, and we still see it around today. It's also made in a man's version, as we see also on the catwalk in 2019. This is 2024, so the bag is still around and being reinvented today by Marie Grazia Dior, now with prints and the different Dior prints. One of the most famous bags is the Lady Dior. This was made very popular by Princess Diana of Wales, and they renamed it after her, the Lady Dior bag. Rosabelle bag, Dior, Diorama. Then we get to the most famous Fendi baguette. So the baguette comes in so many different, almost thousands of different prototypes. There's just a few of them. I was lucky enough once to go to the Fendi archives and entered a huge, I'd say a room, it was more like a warehouse, just full of the most exquisite baguette bags. So every season they have to redesign and rethink the baguette bag and how it works and what it looks like, and different versions. Here we see a man's baguette. The Spy bag by Fendi, also a very popular bag. Palazzo bag, crossword variation with the F saying on again. Crossword bag, another variation of it. The Peekaboo by Fendi was also a very popular bag. So once they have designed a bag and it starts being very popular, they then create lots of variations of that bag and build up on that. The Fendi Trois Jours bag, the Deux Jours bag, the 2-day bag, the By the Way bag. I love all these names as well. Somebody's job is just to think about these wonderful names. This is the By the Way mini bag, which has a beautiful mock croc tail encrusted with Swarovski crystals. The Gucci and Jackie O. The Jackie O bag was one of the big sellers for Gucci and still is. It's obviously named after Jackie Onassis or Jackie Kennedy. This is then also, sorry, let's go back again. The Beauvoir bag. Beauvoir was actually also named after Jackie Kennedy, being that was her maiden name before she married. So it was a great influence on the Gucci's and the Gucci designers at the time. And that was made in 1959 and is still a very popular bag. And then all those bags will develop out of that. Other actresses, for example, Brick Eklund, wore this bag and it became known as the Brit bag. Another version of the Brit bag. Brick Eklund appeared in the James Bond film Man with a Golden Gun, and she was playing the part of Mary Goodnight. So that putting that bag in that film then relaunched that bag and made it super popular. Soho bag. So we can keep going through all these bags forever. And need to get to the end, and we get more to the bamboo bags. All different variations that Alessandro Michele, when he was at Gucci, created. Now we're looking at something completely different. This is Issey Miyake, Japanese designer, created many of his brands, and this is the Bao Bao bag, which is really quite famous, and all the different variations we have of that. This is a Jill Sander bag. So you see how the different styles are based on a shopper. Super minimal market bag. Another very super minimal Previously, that was Jill Sander, and now we're back to a Celine bag, color blocking, more color blocking from Celine. Balenciaga, this huge Balenciaga bag in 2017 was based on nothing less than an IKEA bag. So you can see the game they were playing. That's not unsimilar to that shape, the trapeze shape that Luigi was making before in the initial part of the lesson. This is Anish from London when he created his cheap supermarket or mini market bag, but he did the whole bag in paillettes in sequins. Marnie with their woven mini market bag. Again, the similar idea in plastic. Then the most famous sort of joke on the bag, the Louis Vuitton laundry bag relook in 2007. And there we see this is what it was based on. So those cheap bags that you see, those laundry bags, was made into a luxury bag. The idea coming from the poverty idea. And Celine also, they did a similar thing with their bags and remodeling it in that shape that they became known for. Here's an interesting example. The Franco Moschino, when Jeremy Scott was there, played around with fast food idea and then put a Chanel chain on the idea of the fast food. The cassette bag by Chanel, more Dior bags at the Dior exhibition. So also trying to make luxury more luxury, working with artists. So Louis Vuitton, under the guidance of Marc Jacobs, started to work with Stephen Sprouse, for example, working on the graffiti on bags and the idea of making bags more luxury by putting graffiti on them, or working with artists. This also makes them very difficult to copy because every season they're coming up with new logos and new ideas to recreate their bags. Obviously, stars making the bags super popular and making them, working with great artists like Kusama, a great, fantastic collaboration they've done again and again. Dior bar bags, working with different artists and artisans. So small leather goods, don't forget all these small little leather goods. I love all the little leather goods by Comme des Garçons and Paul Smith. Great ways of communicating your brand in a very small item. Also fun. Fendi are very famous for their monsters on using a certain type of Zucca leather. So getting the ideas of branding across the straps. In Fendi, you can buy the straps separately and they're decorated and makes your bag more unique because you put the combination together yourself and you're adding the monsters. The Chanel add-on accessories, identifying with the bags and the brand codes, charms, Louis Vuitton charms, Hermes charms, and also the monograms, the idea of putting your monogram, your name on the bag. Bottega Veneta, monogramming everything. Louis Vuitton, you can have them also monogrammed. So, so as we know, the turnover with luxury fashion industry varies from brand to brand. But some brands were born with the part of their DNA being in the bag. In general, the markup on bags is much higher than shoes and garments. So the profit is actually higher in bags. Just looking at this, Louis Vuitton, 90% is made through the sale of leather goods. Bottega Veneta, 80%, Gucci, 70%, Valentino, 50%, and Dolce & Gabbana, perhaps 30%. So we get an idea of the importance of leather goods to the brands. So also now we see that not only do the brands sell the bags, but also the pre-owned bags. So a lot of people will buy bags again when they've been owned or pre-loved, now we're calling them. Sometimes they have as much value, if not more, if they become collector's items. Then there is the rental. Rent the Runway, for example, has been going for many years, and people can now rent a bag for a special event or an evening. So there are museums dedicated to bags. And if you want more information, we can give you that here. I've given you a few ideas about some museums and where to look at bags and find out more information. And of course, Academia Costume e Moda, we have our Masters in Accessory Design, which incorporates a culture, history, and craftsmanship working on our master's course, as you saw there with Luigi. We principally do work with Fendi and Ferragamo. If you need more information, please contact us, Academia Costume e Moda, and we can send you more information about our bag design course. Well, I hope you enjoyed the webinar today. Hopefully it wasn't too long, but I did want to show you some Luigi and some of the students' work firsthand. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll be in touch with us soon. Ciao.